I'm Todd Pittman. I'm no doctor. I'm no nutritionist. I'm no Harvard University researcher. You know who I am? I'm you. I'm a real person. I'm a 46-year-old civil engineer, and I live with my wife Joanne and my 8-year-old son Aaron in Asheville, North Carolina. I've led teams of engineers to design, build, and supervise the construction of complex infrastructures like skyscrapers, tunnels, and power plants. But for me, my work as part of a nonprofit organization is where my heart lies. We built disaster-resistant buildings in Rwanda, set up renewable energy systems in Kenya, and complex clean water systems in tsunami-hit Sri Lanka. I tell you this because I've seen firsthand what it's like to lose control. Just like a hurricane or tsunami can turn on you, so can your body. And that's what happened to me. Telling my story is deeply emotional for me, but God compels me to do so. And soon, you will discover the truth about your belly fat, something you've never heard before. It starts about 8 years ago. I was happily married to my wife, Joanne. She was pregnant with our only child, Aaron. We were enjoying life and taking our health for granted every day. I was one of the fittest engineers in the office. I ran fitness training after work for the guys. I was fast, energetic, and not an ounce of fat on me. I had been athletic my whole life, a track champion in my early teens and the football team in college. My energy and zest for life was one of the things that made Joanne fall in love with me. But every week that passed, I noticed my body was changing. I started craving junk food like ice cream and chocolate, and although my diet was the same, I got heavier on the scales and my pants got tighter and tighter. My back was covered in sweat, and I'd be out of breath just walking from my car to the office. It was so embarrassing. And as my energy dropped, so did my confidence, to the point where I was put on desk work and barred from site visits. I went to see our family doctor, who was very concerned and warned me I needed to do something before my health deteriorated further, or worse. He recommended, you guessed it, diet and exercise. And although I didn't know it, this would mark the beginning of an 8-year nightmare. We spent thousands on meal deliveries, home gym equipment, gym memberships, ab crunchers, and not to mention the fitness classes like CrossFit, Zumba, Insanity, P90X, and more. I tried every fad diet you've heard of. Paleo, keto, vegan, low carb, low fat, fasting. I tried sleeping pills, detox cleanses, and hypnosis. And I'm not going to tell you that these diets and exercise programs didn't do anything. They did help me drop 1 or 2 pounds, but like so many people, I couldn't stick to any of them. And after the hope and enthusiasm with every new diet came the crushing disappointment when it would inevitably fail. And the weight came back plus a little more. And every time this happened, I turned to comfort food. As the years rolled by, my energy levels, vitality, mood, general health, and well-being went rapidly downhill. And although the doctor's diets were supposed to help, I piled on more weight. Within 3 years, I put on a huge 37 pounds. Within 6 years, I was 68 pounds overweight. I hadn't looked in a mirror in months. Every time I looked down, grabbing my belly, I felt shame and guilt for letting myself go and not being able to do anything about it. You see, I know exactly what you're going through, the relentless exhaustion, the pants that don't fit, the binging, the scale anxiety. I get it, because I live those feelings every day. On top of it all, our sex life had completely gone. I'm embarrassed to admit it, but it was impossible to be intimate with my wife. And the more weight I put on, the more depressed I became. And the further away I drifted from the man Joanne had fallen in love with. Until one evening, I overheard Joanne on the phone upstairs.
I love him, Ashley. I really do. But nothing's working. I want to help him. I want him to get better, but I'm lost. He just isn't the Todd I married. I feel so bad. I just don't find him attractive anymore.
I felt powerless and weak in a way I never thought I could. I should be the father, the protector, not an emotional and financial burden. How could I help and support my family if I can't even help myself? And 1 week later it happened. A scary event. But oddly enough, it was the best thing to happen to me, as you'll soon discover. Joanne was out, and Aaron was upstairs playing when I heard a huge bang. Aaron started screaming for help. I jolted out of my seat. I stood up and ran upstairs as fast as I could. My mind was there, but my body just couldn't keep up. My chest started pounding harder and harder. My breathing got heavier and heavier. I got halfway up before complete darkness. Next thing I remember, I was coming to, wires poking out of me in complete confusion. Hello, what? Where am I?
Oh, I'm so glad to hear your voice, honey.
Aaron, is Aaron okay?
Yes, he's fine, He hurt his leg, but he's okay. Luckily, Mr. Wilson from next door heard. He saved your life. You got here just in time, Todd. Your heart Your heart cannot cope anymore, Todd.
Joanne burst into tears as she hugged Aaron by my bedside. I could see him cold, hopeless, and frightened at the thought of losing me. It broke my heart. She knew the facts. If you're overweight, you're 62% more likely to have a heart attack, 64% more likely to have a stroke, 81% more likely to have coronary artery disease, and 22% more likely to get Alzheimer's. Kept thinking of my boy Aaron. The thought of not seeing him grow up, the man he'd become. I'd never see the pride on Joanne's face as her only child gets married, or welcoming our first grandchild into the world, something we've really been looking forward to. All the missed birthdays, anniversaries, and vacations away with our children, our grandchildren. I prayed to God to give me a miracle, to help me. And now I know he heard me.